I'm Chris Kubal. Here's a look at your Local 5 weather impact forecast. Of course, we're back in standard time now. That means earlier sunrises and earlier sunsets as we move through the winter months. Here's a look at the sunset times. This seems to be kind of the key of the two to watch. That really gets people riled up. We lose that hour into the evening. Sunset at 5:06 here for tonight, dropping down as short as 4:44 as we move into early December. Then those sunsets do begin to, albeit slowly, get a little bit longer as we go through the depths of winter. Now, can we make the forecast feel a little more winter-like? It's not going to be happening for Tuesday. In fact, very mild with the setup. We will have a few clouds early. That breeze from the south is going to be on the uptick. We should see those temperatures rebound back into the 60s in most locations. Pretty stout breeze from the south and west that will help mix that atmosphere. I think it's a day that's prog to overachieve just a little bit. Weak cold front through early on Wednesday morning. That will start to steal a few degrees from us as we go into Wednesday afternoon. I do think we're limited back in the 50s in most locations. 43 degrees for the overnight low here for tonight, and then 65 on your Tuesday, turning a bit on the breezy side with that south wind. We could see some gusts, especially over northern and eastern Iowa, reach towards 30 miles per hour. Here's a look at those temperatures. 60s, as I mentioned, on Tuesday. And that wind is going to start to play a little bit more of a role. I think for Des Moines, the wind is going to be strongest north and east of town. Here's a look at some of those marks, however. Behind that cold front on Wednesday morning, those gusts will increase. Again, I think it's another day, particularly the morning, we'll be aiming for 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So begin the ebbs and flows. Tuesday, of course, is the warmest. That cold front, another one moving through on Thursday, starting to send us down. Then a larger storm system in here, and that really pulls in some Canadian air. Look at the highs that we're looking at as we move through the weekend into early next week, confined to the 40s. Conceivably, on Sunday, we failed to make that high temperature into the 40s, keeping us into the 30s. Now, we've yet to see the mercury drop in the 20s for the first time in Des Moines this season. It's a little bit behind average, and we're looking to the tune of a couple of weeks by the time it gets here, but I think that gets done this weekend. Here's how it develops. Another cold front in Thursday night into Friday. Some rain chances through the overnight, especially over central and eastern Iowa. That one's quickly in, quickly out. Friday's rather benign, but here comes a Clipper-like disturbance moving through. We'll watch Sunday as we move through the middle of the day. Some showers in tow, but look at those snowflakes that are trying to wrap around. There is some signal that we may be seeing our first hints of accumulating snow in 1 or 2 of 2 time frames. We get into late Saturday into Sunday morning, and then it looks like Sunday evening potential for some skiffs of snow. Now, there's some variances in the data on how it all unfolds at this point. Something we're tracking. I don't think we're looking at our first huge hard hit of snow, but perhaps we can get that first dusting, which would come in, should it happen this weekend, a bit ahead of average. Something we haven't been able to say as of late. We're going to be tracking that. Long and short of, though, clear-cut drop in the temperatures expected Sunday into early next week before we do moderate a little bit. Of course, we'll be tracking that weekend forecast very closely, whether or not we need weather impact alert days.